Kol hod balevav pnenima nefesh Yehudi homia ulfatei mizrach kadima ayen letzion Sophia od lo avda tikvateinu hatikva bachnot alpayim liot am chofshi be'artzeinu eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim liot am chofshi be'artzeinu eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim.
Please be seated. It's my honor to welcome, immediately following the Hatikvah, Naftali Bennett, Minister of Diaspora Affairs for the State of Israel, who hopped on a plane last night to be here with us.
Brothers and sisters, גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות, לא יראה כי אתה עמדי. Even as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. My friends, today we stand in the shadow of death, in the shadow of evil, in the shadow of a cowardly, malicious terror attack on Jews who were in shul to pray. This is the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in the history of the United States of America. But today, I saw you. I met the people, the leaders of the Jewish community, the leaders of the greater community here in Pittsburgh. Met Rabbi Myers, visited the synagogue, and I did not see death. I saw life. I saw strength. I did not see darkness. I saw light, much light. I saw a warm, diverse community of love and unity. I saw Etz Chaim, the tree of life, which will never be uprooted by hate. We stand together as Jews from all communities united, as well as members of all faiths. Together we stand, Americans, Israelis, people who are together saying no to hatred. The murderer's bullet does not stop to ask, are you conservative or reform? Are you orthodox? Are you right-wing or left-wing? It has one goal, and that's to kill innocent people, innocent Jews. And yes, I've come from Israel. on behalf of the State of Israel, on behalf of the government of Israel, and on behalf of the people of Israel, I've come to offer comfort, but what words of comfort can I give? Joyce Feinberg, Rich Gottfried, Rose Mallinger, 97 years old, Jerry Rabinowitz, brothers Cecil and David Rosenthal, Bernice and Sylvan Simon, Daniel Stein, Melvin Wax, Irving Youngner, 11 souls, 11 innocent lives, brutally cut short. We stand here in your memories. May they be blessed, and may the injured have full and swift recoveries. Nearly 80 years since Kristallnacht, when the Jews of Europe perished in the flames of their houses of worship, one thing is clear. Anti-Semitism, Jew-hating, is not a distant memory. It's not a thing of the past, nor a chapter in history books. It is a very real threat. Anti-Semitism is a clear and present danger. From Sderot in Israel to Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania, the hand that fires missiles is the same hand that shoots worshipers. We will fight against the hatred of Jews and anti-Semitism wherever it raises its head, and we will prevail. The bond between Israel and the United States is rooted in deep shared values, values of freedom, of democracy, of liberty. These are the values that define us. These are the values that unite us. And these are the values that we will defend. So my message tonight is clear. We will not stay silent. We will overcome. Unity will defeat division. Love will defeat hatred. Light will defeat darkness. Yesterday morning, the worshipers said one to another, Shabbat Shalom, have a peaceful Shabbat. And I will end with a sentence from the Bible. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, Am Yisrael chai.
Rabbi Danny Schiff from the Pittsburgh Federation. Words from Psalm 90. Adonai, Ma'on ata hayita lanu, b'dor v'dor, b'terem harim yuladu, v'tocholel eretz v'tevel, umei olam ad olam. Ata'el. O God, you have been our refuge in every generation. Before the mountains came into being, before you brought forth the earth and the world, from eternity to eternity, you are God. Turn to us at this hour, O God. Show mercy to your servants. Satisfy us at daybreak with your steadfast love, that we may once again sing songs of joy in our day. Let your deeds be seen by your servants, your glory by their children. May your favor, O God, be upon us. Establish the work of our hands, that it may long endure.
I'm Rabbi Ron Simons from the JCC. This is the hour of memory. Wounded by deep loss, we are here to reaffirm our commitment to life and to its goodness, to our community which gathers us in. Into this place, we bring our hopes and fears and prayers, our unanswered questions, our tears that still need to be shed. Lives recollected and carried within us always, moments of courage and pain. This day embraces them all. This gathering embraces all of us. Now our hearts open to one another in sorrow as we support each other in the shadow of all that we have lost. So let us hold fast to the love that remains and cherish the light of the sun. Today, all of us, everyone in Pittsburgh, walks the mourner's path, as together we seek strength for all of the tomorrows that lie ahead.
Following the next two speakers, be a recorded video message from the President of the State of Israel, Reuven Rivlin. But first, I'd like to call up two people who've been extraordinary, bringing all of their resources to bear to help our community. The next two speakers will be Rich Fitzgerald, the Allegheny County Executive, and Bill Peduto, our Mayor.
Thank you, Jeff. And as the mayor and I come together, it's a symbol of how we do things in this community. We do things together. And Minister Bennett, you told it very well. You stole a little bit of our thunder and our lines, but that shows that across the world, the sentiments are the same, whether in Israel or whether you're in Pittsburgh. 35 years ago, long before I was ever interested in public life, my wife and I wanted to pick a place where we wanted to live and raise our family. We decided to pick Squirrel Hill because it's a special place. It's a place that's welcoming for everybody, where Jews and Christians and Muslims and Buddhists and atheists and Sikhs and every faith can come together, work together, pray together, play together, and have events together. It is a special place. Yesterday, as I was planning on going to other places around this region, which my job will take me to, I got a call after my wife came running into the house and I talked to the mayor that it was my neighborhood that needed help, that was under attack. We saw a coming together of people all over this community and all over this region. We saw people coming together last night, standing in the rain, hugging each other, crying together, being together. Bigotry will not win. Hatred will not win. The Tree of Life is a special place. But that attack on the Tree of Life was not just an attack on them, it was an attack on the entire city, on this entire region. We all come together as one. As Pittsburghers, we will support the Tree of Life. We will support the families, and we will continue to move forward and grow stronger. This bigotry will not defeat us. Love will conquer all. "35 years later, Kathy and I know we made the best place. We made the best choice to live in a great neighborhood, a neighborhood that embraces and is welcoming to people everywhere. Let's pray together. God bless, we will get through this, and we will become stronger as a community, as Squirrel Hillians. All right, thank you. God bless.
Hello, Pittsburgh. We come together tonight to mourn, and it's the right thing to do. We lost 11 of our neighbors, and we're here to mourn the way that they were taken from us. We're here to mourn the fact that we live in a society where something like this could even exist. We're here to mourn the attack upon our Jewish community. We're here to be supporters. We're here to make sure that those victims' families have what Pittsburghers do, the understanding that we are all here for them. And we will help them through this horror that they are living. We're here to recognize the officers and the 2 members of the congregation who are still suffering, and to let them and their families know we're here for you because we're Pittsburghers. And that's what we do. We care and take care of those in need, and we show it as a community of one. In the next several weeks and months, it will become increasingly clear and increasingly necessary to show our support of the Jewish community, to be behind the community as a whole, and to say that anti-Semitism is not even remotely a thought within this city's borders and throughout this area and region of Western Pennsylvania. Let me tell you something about Pittsburghers. We're tough. We are proud of our blue-collar roots. And we're not the type of people that react to threats or actions in a way that ever takes back from us. We will drive anti-Semitism and the hate of any people back to the basement on their computer and away from the open discussions and dialogues around this city, around this state, and around this country. There are different levels of evil. There's an evil that you experience when there is a mass murder. It's an evil that drives down people. There's an evil that you face when the victims are children or the elderly, the innocent, the ones that can't take care of themselves. There's an evil that is placed on top of that when it is against a group of people simply because of the way they pray and who they are. And there is an evil which happens when you enter into a sacred place, a place where it is believed to be the safe place, the place where peace is, and not where you would ever have to worry or have any fear. We are dealing with that quadruple evil, the darkest hour of our city's history. But here's another thing about Pittsburgh. We're a resilient people. We will work together as one. We will defeat hate with love. We will be a city of compassion, welcoming to all people, no matter what your religion or where your family came from on this earth or your status. And we will recognize this moment as a moment when this nation needs to heal and the nation needs to come together under the common sense of how we stop events like this from happening ever again. We are Pittsburgh. We'll take care of those families who lost their loved ones. We'll take care of those who were injured, protecting us. We'll make sure that our Jewish community has the support that it needs and that the entire community comes together as one. We will eradicate any type of hate throughout this city and work for common sense laws when it comes to stop this type of violence. And we'll do it not only because we're Pittsburgh, but because we are one.
This time we'd like to invite, and there's many of them here, clergy representing the diversity of our Pittsburgh community to come up onto the stage. As they continue to come up, let's try to run the video from the President of the State of Israel.
Daughters and sons, brothers and sisters of those killed and injured in this horrific terror attack. My dear friends, brothers and sisters, members of the Jewish community of Pittsburgh, and dear friends of the Jewish community who have gathered here today in solidarity. I feel your pain today, and with me is the entire Jewish people. It is hard for us to believe, hard for us to understand how hatred and evil rose up to damage and to uproot the tree of life, Etz HaChaim. How can we accept that a house of worship becomes a place of death? How does hatred dare to harm our dear people at the holy time of Shabbat prayers? At this time of pain, we cannot offer you consolation, but we can take you to our hearts and tell you again and again, you are not alone. The people of Israel and the entire Jewish people stands with you. In your time of pain, in your time of loss, we are with you. One people, one family, unbreakable, eternal. We must say loud and clear, this was an attack of anti-Semitism. Our brothers and sisters, friends and family were murdered because they were Jews. We cannot, we must not, and we will not ignore it or tolerate it. Never, nowhere. For we know, and you know, the terrible result when we do. From the depth of my heart, I want to thank the brave first responders who did not hesitate for a moment even and risked their own lives to protect freedom of religion, peace, and liberty. They will be in our heart forever. May the souls of our brothers and sisters who were killed in this terrible act be bound up in the bond of life forever. תהא נשמתם צרורה לצרור החיים. Please join me in saying Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעלם לעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיא, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. God bless the United States of America. God bless the Jewish people. God bless you all.
God bless the United States of America.
God bless America. Land that our love stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Please remain standing. Make a semicircle around.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
You all stay here. Would you please be seated? We're going to stay here while all the other pastors wrap us in support of them.
It's now my honor to welcome up the next three speakers. Reverend Liddy Barlow from Christians Associates of Southwestern Pennsylvania, Wazi Muhammad, the head of the Islamic Center of Pittsburgh and Engage PA, and Reverend John Welch, Pittsburgh Police Chaplain.
Grace and peace to each and every one of you. First, to the Jewish community. When violence came to Christian sanctuaries, at Mother Emanuel in Charleston, at Sutherland Springs in Texas, you stood with us. And today, with our whole hearts, we stand with you. We will cry with you. We will resist anti-Semitism and all hatred with you, and we will work with you to end violence. We will do that because you are our neighbors, but more because you are our friends, and still more because you are our family. We love you, and we are so sorry. One of the congregations at worship yesterday has the beautiful name of Tree of Life. It's an image that appears in the first pages of the Hebrew scriptures as the tree of life grows in the Garden of Eden. For Christians, we find that same tree on the last pages of our Bible in the book of Revelation. John's beautiful dream of Eden restored, the city of God. Hear these words. On either side of the river is the tree of life, with its 12 kinds of fruit, producing its fruit each month. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. Did you catch that about the fruit? That when this world comes to fulfillment, there won't just be one kind of fruit or two kinds of fruit. There's going to be 12 kinds of fruit all on the same tree. And if that's what the tree looks like, imagine what the neighborhood looks like. I think it looks like Squirrel Hill. I think when we get to the city of God, we will find people of all religions and all races and ethnicities and all ages and abilities and new immigrants and old timers, all of us rooted together. That is God's dream of Eden restored. And did you catch the part about the leaves? Because the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. Yesterday, 11 leaves fell from the branches before their time in the worst way possible. Today, they are safe in the nearer presence of God. But those of us who are still on the branches, we have work to do. It is for us to be about the healing of our nation, of our communities, of our houses of worship, and of one another. May God bless our work. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. May peace and blessings be upon all of you. My name is Wazi Muhammad. I'm from the Islamic Center of Pittsburgh and with Engage, Pennsylvania. So last night at the Vigil, I referenced a verse of the Quran, Surah Al-Fusilat, the 41st chapter and the 34th verse. Essentially, what I brought up was the concept of anger and hatred that will overcome us in these times. Those emotions that are negative, the Quran teaches us that we need to respond to negative emotions with positive action. That's how you get rid of that. That you can't just keep those negative emotions because it's dangerous. that seed of hatred can grow. You could end up doing something terrible like that had happened. You have to be careful because it's a flame that if you stoke it, it is way more likely to engulf you than it is to engulf that who you hate. So yesterday was more about being careful and looking at the example of the Jewish community who's done such great work in this city. And I can't walk 10 feet in the city without seeing a great thing that the community has done for this city. And one, thank you for everybody in this room. And that hatred's dangerous, and I always wonder when things like this happens is how many times do we have to get burned before we learn to respect fire? And unfortunately, this was another time. And it reminded me of a hadith instance in the Sirah on the life of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ from Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, that Qais ibn Sa'd reported a funeral passed by the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, peace and blessings be upon him, and he stood up. And this is a lesson to the companions of the Prophet about discrimination and intolerance. And then when the funeral procession came, the Prophet ﷺ, may peace be upon him, stood up. And his companions asked, "Why are you standing? It is a Jewish funeral. It is not one of ours." And I always imagine this story with his look just being incredulous. And a couple words is all he needed to explain to the companions how ridiculous that was. The Prophet ﷺ responded, "Was he not a soul?" With just those few words, he was showing us that the barriers between our hearts are artificial, that our differences are circumstantial, and don't mean anything when compared to our shared humanity. In this example, and many others from my tradition, we find that Muslims are required to stand up against injustice, and specifically for our Jewish brothers and sisters. And it is because of these prophetic traditions that we decided to do something for our Jewish brothers and sisters. We realized that it's such a tragic time, that these are our brothers and sisters, these are family. Money should not be an issue. That should not be a concern, paying for a funeral or paying for medical costs. That is not what should be focused on. It's about mourning right now. So the Muslim community at launchgood.com /Muslims Unite for Pittsburgh Synagogue, we started to raise some money. And since yesterday afternoon, we've been able to raise over $70,000 for the community. And this is sincere, that we're not going to stop. We don't think our work is finished because that's a high number. We just want to know what you need. If it's more money, let us know. If it's people outside your next service, protecting you, let us know. We'll be there. If you need organizers on the ground, Engage will provide them. If you need anything at all, if you need food for the families, if you just need somebody to come to the grocery store because you don't feel safe in this city, we'll be there, and I'm sure everybody in the room would say the same thing. We're here for the community. And I'd just like to note that was the same offer made to me by this community when this election happened that was so negative, and so the spike in hate crimes against Muslims. And then after 9/11, the same thing was made to our community. So we're just repaying the favor. So thank you for that. When I first heard about this tragedy, I was in shock. I couldn't believe that this was happening down the street. I was traveling to a meeting, and obviously everybody's days changed that day. And I looked around, And I didn't really see the city anymore. I just saw its dark corners. I don't know if anybody's ever felt like that after seeing something like this. Things are different, everything looks different. The reality you in isn't the one that you were in a few minutes ago. And just seeing those dark corners made the day very long. But at night, at the darkest point, we had a vigil. And in that darkness, at that night, there was light there. It was a beautiful moment that I needed that light to see. And it reminded me of a poem by the Muslim poet Hafiz. Out of a great need, we are all holding hands and climbing. Not loving is a letting go. Listen, the terrain around here is far too dangerous for that. What this made me remember is that we need to stay together. We need to hold on. And what I think was really important, seeing everybody here today, seeing that night, why I needed that to stop seeing just those dark corners, is that when I look back on this day, I'm not gonna remember, I refuse to just remember one individual filled with darkness. I'm gonna remember the light. I'm gonna remember the thousands of people who showed up today, who are supporting all around the country. Thousands of people filled with love and hope. I'm gonna think about them. I hope that you also think about them. And when you look back at this tragedy, you look back and are still filled with hope. And anything the Muslim community can do, we're committed to do. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
To the members of Tree of Life, Doradash, New Light congregations, and to the leaders, to distinguished guests that are here, to all of you, my brothers and sisters, good evening. I'm Reverend Dr. John C. Welch, Vice President and Dean of Students of Pittsburgh Theological Seminary and Chaplain for the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police. I'm a Pittsburgher, born and raised. Amen. I stand here as a member of the seminary community that distinguishes itself as a place where people of different ethnicities, minds and opinions, cultural backgrounds, and religious traditions can gather in one space. I stand here as a member of the Pittsburgh Police Chaplains, a corps that has grown from 2 to 13 since 2008, a corps that represents the diversity of the police department in gender, race, and religion. And there are several members of Pittsburgh Police Chaplaincy that are here, one of whom I'd like to recognize, that is Rabbi Alvin Birkin. I also stand here as a member of the African American community, a community that has a common global history with our Jewish brothers and sisters, whether it be slavery or the Holocaust, and a common experience in this country and in this city, both of us subjects of distinct marginalization, and yet together we are advocates for civil rights and social justice. And while the pain of our histories are similar, and while tragic events seem to bring us together, it will only be the mutual love and respect we have one for another that will sustain our relationship. The city of Pittsburgh has been through pain before, and unfortunately, me and my fellow chaplains were in the middle of them. In 2009, we lost 3 Pittsburgh police officers in an ambush in Stanton Heights. After that tragedy, I saw people in this city rally behind women and men in blue like never before. Yesterday, 4 of our officers were wounded while displaying the incomparable courage that only our first responders and our armed service members can display. Unfortunately, we also lost 11 friends and family members in the Tree of Life Synagogue. But because of the bravery of the officers, it is believed that other lives were saved. Now, while I care not to remember the tragedy in Stanton Heights, I do remember the overwhelming support from this city, a support I know will be there for our Jewish brothers and sisters. We are the Steel City, and steel may no longer be rolling off of the platforms as they used to, but the strength of that steel still remains, and it is embodied by us. We are the city of champions. The Steelers have 6 Super Bowls, the Pirates 5 World Series, the Penguins 5 Stanley Cups. Champions know how to work together to achieve one goal. Our goal is to work together to make this city a model city across the nation where everyone feels welcome and can call Pittsburgh home. Our goal is to make sure that Pittsburgh is a place where immigrants can call it their sanctuary or refuge if they want to. And finally, my brothers and sisters, our goal in working together is to make sure that Pittsburgh is a place where we can triumph over terrorism and tragedy, and where we can be the city of bridges that brings together what others want to divide. God bless Pittsburgh. God bless the Jewish community.
I apologize to the clergy because I'm going to keep you standing for a little longer. At this time, we'd like to call up the leadership of all the congregations, the clergy at the 3 congregations that were impacted. I'm going to call all of them up as a group. Rabbi Jonathan Perlman from New Light Congregation, Rabbi Cheryl Klein from Dor Chadash, and Rabbi Jeffrey Myers from Tree of Life, or La Simcha. At the end of their talks, Rabbi Myers is going to lead us all in the El Malei Rachamim.
My name is Jonathan Perlman, and I grew up in this city. When I was a teenager, Willie Stargell had a charge for us. We are family. I spent a number of years away from the city, going to college, working. But my heart belonged to this city. And I always bragged to people wherever I went that Pittsburgh was the friendliest city on this earth. And so I brought my family back. 8 years ago, I was called to be the rabbi of New Light Congregation, an historic congregation in our city, over 100 years old. And I got to meet the friendliest, what we say in Yiddish, the most Hamish people I have ever worked with in my career as a rabbi. They went all out for our congregation, and they volunteered, and they have so much energy in our small congregation that it was incredible for me to experience and watch. I want to address my fellow members of New Light and let you know that this, what happened yesterday, will not break us. It will not ruin us. We will continue to thrive and sing and worship and learn together and continue our historic legacy in this city with the friendliest people that we know. Yesterday, on our holy Sabbath, we lost 3 pillars of our community. 3 pillars of our community. 3 men who would give you the shirt off their back, who volunteered their time and thought of our synagogue night and day. And they were always the first ones to be there on Saturday morning. We mourn their loss. But I know that they would want us to continue onward. They remind me of the character that is described in this week's Torah portion, Parshat Chayei Sarah, a portion that describes our mother, Rebecca, when she is first introduced. Those of you who know the Bible may know it well. The servant of Abraham needed to find a new matriarch to marry Isaac, to keep the family going. And he didn't know where to find one. He found a young girl who brought him water after his desert journey, who watered all of his 10 camels and his servants as well, and who offered him lodging at her family's home. And he said, "This must be the one." Rebecca. Rebecca was the first volunteer in history. And that's what I saw in these men. That volunteerism that would not be matched, that extended beyond the borders of New Light congregation, to working with the poor and the hungry and the needy. These 3 men, they cannot be replaced. But we will not be broken. We will not be ruined by this event. I want to conclude with a statement by the man who wrote these words in the backdrop of this auditorium. At the end, President Abraham Lincoln says, "We therefore take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. We hereby resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain."
Rabbi Cheryl Klein, Congregation Dor Chadash. Dor Chadash is a small but mighty congregation that is composed of seekers, learners, lovers, and doers. I thought we were the most Hamish congregation, Jonathan. We'll discuss. Our Hamish nature has always been inviting and inclusive. Our egalitarian spirit allows all to participate and grow through Torah values, to probe and question our actions and responses as Jews, and to embrace our differences with respect and tolerance. We come together throughout the year to pray, celebrate, mourn, achieve, and improve the world. I am numb. If I weren't out of town celebrating Shabbat with my family yesterday, I would have been in the building. We are shaken, sickened, and suffering, not just by our own tragedy of loss and injury, but for all those who share the Tree of Life building. Rabbi Perlman, Rabbi Myers, and all of their congregants, all of the surviving family members and friends whose lives will never be the same. Hatred and anti-Semitism are not old thoughts, and they're not new thoughts. They just never seem to go away. Although we are broken, these acts of violence will not define our hopes and dreams for the future, and we will never let hatred be the victor. Never. We are survivors. We are instructed to be Or LeGoyim, a light unto the nations of the world. The Jewish people is strong and full of courage. We are grateful to God for those who were not injured, but make no mistake about our emotional struggle. We will grieve at Dor Chadash for a long time. And we will pray for those who are clinging to life. And with your support, love, and friendship, we will continue to do the work of our people, making our community better, brighter, and filled with acts of loving kindness and mitzvot. The death of Dr. Jerry Rabinowitz leaves a tremendous void in our shul. Jerry defined what it is to be a mensch. He was shot and died in the building on his way to be of help to others. This was his way with all that he did in his life. He was a leader, a healer, and a voice of reason. Please pray for his wife, Miri. Dan Legger is no stranger in the Pittsburgh community, always there to help and support the sick and dying. Dan was shot, is clinging to life, and needs our prayers. He is known by his Hebrew name, Daniel ben Sarah. We await the day when we can welcome this wonderfully caring and compassionate man back into our minyan. We at Dor Chadash are grateful for the outpouring of love and the outreach across all faith communities. Thank you to all. Now is the time to be lifters, not leaners, to be givers and not takers. In our shul, we have two beautiful tapestries that encourage us, la'asok b'tzorkei hatzibur, to go out and do the work of the community. They are constant reminders of our purpose. Our ner tamid, our eternal light, has been dimmed. But with strength from God, we will dig deep inside to find the godliness within, to continue our mission of touching lives both in and outside of our worship space. Am Yisrael Chai. Please join me. Misheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Toda Rabbah.
I'm Jeffrey Myers, and I'm the Rabbi of Tree of Life. I'm a victim, I'm a survivor, I'm a mourner. I lay in bed last night, couldn't sleep, surprise. And in usually times like this, I'll turn to the Psalms. Immediately started thinking, Esa enai harim me'ayin yavo ezri, ezri me'im Hashem, oseh shamayim va'aretz. I turn my eyes to the heavens. Where will my help come? My help comes from God, maker of heaven and earth. So God, why us? Why couldn't he turn his car a different direction? I began services at 9:45. The shooting started a few minutes after. There were 12 of us in the sanctuary at that time. And as is customary in the Jewish faith, and I've also seen it in other faiths, all the early people come and sit in the back. I helped pull out the people that I could from the front, but alas, I had 8 people in the back. 1 fortunately survived. 7 of my congregants were shot dead in my sanctuary. My holy place has been defiled. We will rebuild. I thought to myself, the 23rd Psalm, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Well, God, I want. What I want, you can't give me. You can't return these 11 beautiful souls. You can't rewind the clock. So how do I rectify my dilemma with this psalm? What I want, you can't give me, but it says, I shall not want. If you turn later in the psalm, we read, you anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. My texts, my emails, my Facebook overflow with love from strangers, people I've never met, people who are not from the United States, but from all around the world. Jewish, Christian, Muslim, all with the same message. We are here from you. My cup overflows with love. That's how you defeat hate. You as a community have shown that to me. I'm an immigrant. I'm from New York. I know Governor Pataki appreciated the applause as well. I've only been here a little more than a year, but I've learned in that short period of time what Mayor Peduta had said so beautifully, that this is a community that cares. We won't let hate beat us down. Well, how do you stop it? We've been trying to stop hate since the earliest days of the Bible. Cain and Abel. That's not a success story. And it continues onward. Noah. That wasn't a success story. At the end of Noah, God says, I recognize that from his youth, man is prone to evil. What a depressing thought. Isn't there a chance for good? The answer is yes, there is. You don't have to follow the prone to evil path. We can also be prone to good if you decide to take that path. It starts with speech. Words of hate are unwelcome in Pittsburgh. It starts with everyone in this room. And I want to address for a moment some of our political leaders who are here. Ladies and gentlemen, it has to start with you as our leaders. My words are not intended as political fodder. I address all equally. Stop the words of hate. My mother always taught me, if you don't have anything nice to say, say nothing. If it comes from you, Americans will listen. But let's not forget one really important thing. Independent of what happens tonight, independent of what any of our elected officials choose to do from here on, it's us, we the people. Tree of Life has lost 7 branches, but really 11 because they're all part of our family. But we've been here 154 years. We got a lot more branches. We will rebuild to be a stronger tree, offering a new light, offering a Dor Chadash, a new generation, so that collectively people will come and say, wow, that's how you're supposed to live your life. It starts with one simple step. Just stop the hate. Don't say it. Zip the lip, just don't say it. It just takes one person to make that difference. The question I have for you is, any of you that person to do that? I leave you with that question. You have to answer it for us. Within the Jewish tradition, there's a memorial prayer that's recited in memory of our deceased. Permit me to share with you the text in English first, and then I'll be chanting it in Hebrew, and at that time, I'll ask you to rise. The text roughly reads, O Lord of mercy and compassion, you who dwell in the heights with the holy and the pure, we beseech you to accept the souls of these 11 beautiful people who gave their lives to honor your glorious name. O Lord of mercy, bound them up in the wings of life eternal, for you are their portion. May they all rest in peace. As we all say, Amen, and please rise. El Malei Rachamim Shochen Bamramim Amitzei Menucha Nechana Tachat Kanefei Hashina B'ma'alot Kedoshim U'Jehorim Kizohar Rakia Mazirim Et Nishmat Achad Esrei Anashim V'Nashim Shemasru et nafsham al kiddush Hashem B'gan Eden tehei menuchatam Ana Ba'al harachamim Hastirei Beseter kinafecha leolamim וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם. אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינוחו משכבותיהם, ונאמר אמן. You may be seated.
We're going to be concluding with some music by the Pittsburgh Symphony. After you hear about the piece, just a couple of logistical announcements.
The whole Pittsburgh Symphony family has mourned this weekend, and we have played our hearts out for this community, and we're so honored to be part of this service. We will play for you the Israeli song from the poet Hannah Shenesh, who was a martyr for her people, Hungarian poet who died so young. Here's her poem. My God, may these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rustle of the water, the lightning in the sky, the prayer of man. After, we will play a short piece aria by Mstislav Weinberg, who lost his entire family in the Holocaust, right after Kristallnacht, which happened exactly 80 years ago. So many beautiful words have been said here. We are going to try to say them with music, the universal language.
I wanted to have Meryl Ainsman, our board chair, join me up here so she can see the crowd. What you don't see, those of you in the room, is that I understand there are thousands of people outside listening in. So, because of logistics, I'm going to ask that everybody here stay through this first piece by the symphony, and I'm going to kindly ask that everybody who is outside start making your way away, or we will never be able to leave. And on behalf of Meryl and myself, thank you for being here tonight.